Welcome back to the Rise Up podcast, where we inspire you to keep pushing forward, no matter the obstacles. In today's episode, we'll be diving into a powerful story about overcoming challenges and pursuing your dreams, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's a story that reminds us that no matter where we come from, our dreams are worth fighting for. As always, we've prepared a PDF transcript of today's episode for those who need it. You can find it in the episode description. Feel free to download it and follow along. Now let's jump into today's message, a dream bigger than the struggles. Hi everyone. My name is David, and today I want to share a story not about success, but about finding hope, even in the darkest times. You see, I didn't grow up with much, but what I had was something more valuable than money. Dreams. Growing up in a small town, my family didn't have a lot. We lived paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes we didn't even know where the next meal was coming from. My dad worked 2 jobs, and my mom did everything she could to keep us going. But things were always tight. I remember seeing my friends with new clothes, going to summer camps, and having the latest gadgets. But that wasn't my reality. My reality was secondhand clothes, after-school jobs, and worrying about bills more than schoolwork. But one thing I never let go of was my dream. From a young age, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to stand in front of a classroom, helping kids like me, showing them that no matter where you come from, you can go far. In high school, it got tough. I wasn't the smartest in class, and I definitely wasn't the most confident. I saw kids getting tutoring, having everything handed to them. But I couldn't afford tutors. I couldn't afford fancy study guides or even extra help. So I stayed up late every night, reading every page of my textbooks, sometimes borrowing notes from friends, trying to catch up. Then in my senior year, things got worse. My dad lost one of his jobs, and our situation became critical. The pressure of taking care of my siblings and keeping up with school felt like too much. At one point, I almost gave up. I thought, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe my dreams are too big for someone like me. But then something changed. One day my teacher pulled me aside and said, "David, I see how hard you're working. Don't stop now. You've come too far to quit." That one sentence reignited the spark in me. I realized that I couldn't give up, not on my family, not on myself, and especially not on the dreams I had carried for so long. I pushed through. I kept studying, kept working, and eventually I graduated. But that wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. I worked part-time to pay for community college, and eventually I transferred to a 4-year university. I worked harder than ever because I knew what was at stake, not just my future, but the future of every kid who would one day sit in my classroom. And here I am now, living the dream I fought so hard for. I became a teacher, and every day I walk into my classroom, I remember where I came from. I remember the days I thought I wouldn't make it, the nights I stayed up late studying, and the times I wanted to quit. But more importantly, I remember why I kept going. You see, the truth is, your circumstances don't define you. It's your dreams that do. Life will throw challenges your way, but those challenges aren't there to break you. They're there to make you stronger. They're there to prove just how much you're willing to fight for what you want. So to anyone out there feeling like your dreams are too big or your situation is too hard, I want you to remember this. No dream is too big, and no obstacle is too great. You can overcome it all, as long as you hold on to the belief that you are capable of more. Your struggles don't mean your dreams are out of reach. They mean that when you finally get there, you'll appreciate every step of the journey even more. As I continued my journey, I realized that achieving a dream isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about the people you meet, the lessons you learn, and the moments that shape you along the way. For me, those moments came when I least expected them. In college, I struggled financially, but I was determined to finish my degree. I worked multiple jobs, waiting tables, tutoring kids, and even cleaning dorm rooms, just to stay afloat. There were nights I would sit at my desk, exhausted, wondering if all the sacrifice was worth it. But deep down, I knew it was. I wasn't just working for a degree, I was working for a future that I had imagined for so long. One of the most important lessons I learned during this time was the power of asking for help. You see, for the longest time, I thought I had to do everything on my own. I thought asking for help was a sign of weakness. But I was wrong. One day, a professor noticed I was struggling and pulled me aside. She said, "David, it's okay to ask for help. We're all in this together." That simple reminder changed my perspective. I started reaching out, whether it was asking for extra help with an assignment, getting advice from mentors, or even applying for scholarships I never thought I'd qualify for. And you know what? People were more willing to help than I ever imagined. I learned that when you work hard and show that you're committed, others want to see you succeed too. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was thriving. But it wasn't just the people who helped me that made an impact. It was the failures too. There were times when I didn't pass an exam, when a job application was rejected, or when I simply felt like I wasn't good enough. Those moments hurt, but they also taught me resilience. They taught me that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. Every time I fell, I got back up, stronger and more determined than before. One of the hardest moments came during my last semester of college. My mother, who had always been my rock, got sick. It was serious, and for a while, I didn't know if I would be able to finish school. I spent weeks going back and forth between classes and the hospital. There were days I thought about dropping out, but I couldn't. My mom had sacrificed so much for me, and I knew I had to finish for her, for both of us. It wasn't easy, but I made it through. And on graduation day, when I walked across that stage, I wasn't just celebrating a degree. I was celebrating the countless hours of hard work, the nights I cried in frustration, and the strength I found within myself to keep going. Looking back now, I realized that my dream wasn't just about becoming a teacher. It was about proving to myself that I could rise above my circumstances. It was about showing others that no matter how tough life gets, you have the power to create your own path. Today, as a teacher, I see so many kids who remind me of myself. Kids who feel like the odds are stacked against them. And every day, I remind them of what I had to learn for myself. You are not defined by where you come from. You are defined by how much you're willing to fight for where you want to go. My journey didn't end when I got my diploma, and neither will yours. Every step you take, no matter how hard, brings you closer to your dream. And trust me, when you get there, it's worth every struggle, every sleepless night, and every doubt you had to overcome. So if you're sitting here today, wondering if you're good enough, if you have what it takes, I want you to know this. You do. You absolutely do. It might not happen overnight, and there will be times when it feels impossible, but keep going. Keep pushing. Your dreams are bigger than your fears, and your future is brighter than any obstacle in your way. As my life moved forward, I realized that while achieving your dreams is powerful, the real strength comes from what you do once you've reached them. It's not enough to just fulfill your own goals. It's about helping others reach theirs too. And that's when I truly understood the purpose behind everything I'd been through. When I first started teaching, I was eager but nervous. I had this vision of how I wanted to inspire my students, but I quickly learned that not every child is ready to be inspired. Some of them were just like me, coming from homes where food wasn't guaranteed, where parents were struggling, or where hope seemed like a distant dream. I saw it in their eyes. That same look of defeat I once had when I thought my dreams were out of reach. And it hit me. This was my moment. I wasn't just there to teach math or reading. I was there to show these kids that their circumstances didn't define them. I knew exactly what they were going through because I had been in their shoes. I told them my story, and I let them know that I believed in them, even when they didn't believe in themselves. One day, I had a student named Emily. She was quiet, always sitting in the back, never really engaging. Her grades were slipping, and I could tell she was struggling. After class, I asked her to stay behind, and we talked. I found out that her parents were going through a divorce, money was tight, and she felt like she wasn't good enough to keep up with the other kids. I told her something I wish someone had told me at her age. Emily, it's okay to feel lost right now. But this isn't the end of your story. You are stronger than you know, and I'm here to help you through this. Whatever you need, we'll figure it out together. From that day forward, she started to believe in herself a little more each day. Her grades improved, and so did her confidence. Watching her transformation was a reminder of why I do what I do. And it wasn't just Emily. There were so many others, kids who, like me, needed someone to see them, to believe in them when they couldn't believe in themselves. As the years went by, I made it my mission to not only teach but to be a mentor, a guide, and a source of hope for every student who crossed my path. But here's the thing. It wasn't just about helping them academically. It was about helping them see that they have value, that they are capable of achieving whatever they set their minds to, no matter how tough life gets. I wanted them to understand that their dreams were valid, even if they seemed impossible at times. As I look back now, I see that the struggles I faced weren't just for me. They were meant to prepare me to help others. Every obstacle, every challenge, every setback was shaping me into the person I needed to become, not just for myself, but for all the people I would one day help. And that's the message I want to leave you with today. Your journey is not just about you. It's about what you do with it. It's about how you take your experiences, your pain, and your triumphs, and use them to lift someone else up. It's about recognizing that your story has the power to inspire, to change lives, and to give hope to those who need it most. So if you're going through a tough time right now, I want you to remember this. You're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for all the people who will one day look up to you, for those who will need your story to keep going. Your struggles are shaping you into the person you were meant to be. And one day, you will be the one standing in front of someone else, telling them, "You can do this." I never imagined that my own hardships would become the foundation for helping others, but now I see that's exactly what they were for. And if I can make it through, if I can turn my struggles into strength, then so can you. Your dreams are not only possible, they're necessary. They're needed. Not just by you, but by the world around you. So keep pushing forward, because one day, you'll realize that you weren't just dreaming for yourself. You were dreaming for everyone who will follow in your footsteps. In the following list, you'll find 15 commonly used words, phrases, and idioms in American English, taken from the inspirational speech series, A Dream Bigger Than the Struggles. These terms are widely used in everyday conversations and will help English learners sound more natural and fluent. We've included their meanings and examples to give you a better understanding of how to use them in context. Let's dive into some fresh, practical vocabulary. Paycheck to paycheck, meaning living with just enough money to cover your basic needs until your next paycheck, with little or no savings. Example, many families live paycheck to paycheck, struggling to make ends meet each month. Once again, paycheck to paycheck, meaning living with just enough money to cover your basic needs until your next paycheck, with little or no savings. Example, many families live paycheck to paycheck, struggling to make ends meet each month. Second-hand, meaning pre-owned or previously used by someone else. Example, I couldn't afford new clothes, so I bought everything second-hand. Once again, second-hand, meaning pre-owned or previously used by someone else. Example, I couldn't afford new clothes, so I bought everything second-hand. Burning the midnight oil, meaning staying up late to work or study. Example, she's been burning the midnight oil every night to prepare for her final exams. Once again, burning the midnight oil, meaning staying up late to work or study. Example, she's been burning the midnight oil every night to prepare for her final exams. Spark, meaning a sudden feeling of excitement or interest. Example, her teacher's encouragement reignited the spark she needed to keep going. Once again, spark, meaning a sudden feeling of excitement or interest. Example, her teacher's encouragement reignited the spark she needed to keep going. Reignite, meaning to bring back a feeling or motivation that had disappeared. Example, his passion for art was reignited after attending the new exhibit. Once again, reignite, meaning to bring back a feeling or motivation that had disappeared. Example, his passion for art was reignited after attending the new exhibit. Take off, meaning to suddenly start doing well, to become successful quickly. Example, once she found her confidence, her academic performance really took off. Once again, take off, meaning to suddenly start doing well, to become successful quickly. Example, once she found her confidence, her academic performance really took off. Fall behind, meaning to not keep up with others, to be slower or less successful in comparison. Example, without a tutor, I started to fall behind my classmates in math. Once again, fall behind, meaning to not keep up with others, to be slower or less successful in comparison. Example, without a tutor, I started to fall behind my classmates in math. Catch up, meaning to reach the same level or standard as others after falling behind. Example, even though she missed 2 weeks of school, she managed to catch up quickly. Once again, catch up, meaning to reach the same level or standard as others after falling behind. Example, even though she missed 2 weeks of school, she managed to catch up quickly. Thriving, meaning doing very well, succeeding. Example, after years of hard work, she's now thriving in her new career. Once again, thriving, meaning doing very well, succeeding. Example, after years of hard work, she's now thriving in her new career. Overnight, meaning happening very quickly or suddenly. Example, success doesn't come overnight, it takes years of dedication. Once again, overnight, meaning happening very quickly or suddenly. Example, success doesn't come overnight, it takes years of dedication. Hit me, meaning to realize something suddenly or unexpectedly. Example, it hit me that I wasn't just studying for myself, but for my family's future too. Once again, hit me, meaning to realize something suddenly or unexpectedly. Example, it hit me that I wasn't just studying for myself, but for my family's future too. Lift someone up, meaning to encourage or help someone feel better or more confident. Example, her words lifted me up when I was feeling down. Once again, lift someone up, meaning to encourage or help someone feel better or more confident. Example, her words lifted me up when I was feeling down. Make ends meet, meaning to manage your finances so you have enough to cover your expenses. Example, it's hard to make ends meet when you're working minimum wage jobs. Once again, make ends meet, meaning to manage your finances so you have enough to cover your expenses. Example, it's hard to make ends meet when you're working minimum wage jobs. Fall through the cracks, meaning to be overlooked or not noticed, especially in a system or group. Example, without extra help, some students fall through the cracks in large classes. Once again, fall through the cracks, meaning to be overlooked or not noticed, especially in a system or group. Example, without extra help, some students fall through the cracks in large classes. Turn things around, meaning to improve a bad situation or make a significant change for the better. Example, with hard work and determination, she managed to turn things around and graduate with honors. Once again, turn things around, meaning to improve a bad situation or make a significant change for the better. Example, with hard work and determination, she managed to turn things around and graduate with honors. Thank you for tuning into the Rise Up podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to keep chasing your dreams, no matter how tough the journey gets. Remember, your struggles don't define you. How you rise above them does. If you found today's story moving, be sure to share it with someone who might need a little extra encouragement. And don't forget, the PDF transcript is available in the episode description for anyone who wants to review or reflect on today's words. Stay strong, stay motivated, and until next time, rise up and keep pushing forward.